Today we're going to walk you through some of the resources available through the University Archives website. The University Archives documents the history of Simmons College, and while most of our materials are available only in print, we have done some work over the past few years to make some resources available for online viewing. And I'm going to start by directing you to the Archives website. The easiest way to find that is to begin at the Simmons University Library homepage, and at the bottom of the page you will see a link over to the University Archives. And once there, we have sort of a description of what the University Archives does, and that is document the history of Simmons University through collecting materials. But I particularly want to highlight for you some of the resources on the left-hand side of the screen. You'll see we have listed here collections donated to the archives, etc. Some really great resources for students to look at, if only to get a sense of the history of the institution. I would recommend you start in the collections tab right here. Once here, you'll see a link to we have a lot of collections, and for many of these tabs, it is provides you with information about print resources you can access. And I realize that is largely impossible for many of you, for many of us during the pandemic. But there are some that are available, and I want to particularly highlight the digital scrapbooks. These were digitized as part of a class project through the School of Library and Information Science. And as you'll see here, we have scrapbooks going back over 100 years. These really give a wonderful overview of what student life was like at various points in the college's early history. And right here, I've opened up the Carolyn Stokes scrapbook. She was an alum in, I believe, the 1930s. And just to give you a sense of the sort of the interface right here, you can view the scrapbook page by page. So on this page, you can see some of her newspaper clippings from freshman week, Frosh Week, as it was called. And you can also zoom in on some of these. The next page gives her program from her first convocation. Again, we have a couple dozen of these scrapbooks, and any of them, you open them up, you can be surprised and delighted by what you find. Another set of digitized resources we have through the archives are the university's yearbooks. And these go back to the very first yearbook published in 1906, all the way, as you can see here, up through the 2000s. I just wanted to highlight some of the information you can find in there, and I again encourage anyone to just browse through and click away and learn more about Simmons's history. This here is a page from the 1919 yearbook with information on the YWCA and the Menorah Society. And that's just one example of sort of the student activities information that can be found here. Here we have some candid photos, or some senior photos, I guess, from members of the class of 1969. Always fun to look through these, just if only to look at some of the different hairstyles over the years. And finally here, some student life from 1984. And I realize that you may not be in your dorm room these days, but I think we can all kind of sympathize or share sort of understand the predicament of just lounging around in bed and flipping through a magazine. Or today you might be flipping through an Instagram feed or some TikTok videos. Another great resource we have, and this is listed on the archives page under the Histories and Exhibits tab, we have some much more in-depth kind of curated exhibits that the archives have put together on a variety of topics. And I want to highlight in particular these two right here, the activism at Simmons and the Black history at Simmons. Both of these, the archives did significant research and have also pulled together some really great narrative overviews and some fun photographs for you to engage with. The activism at Simmons exhibit goes back to the earliest days of the college, back to its founding, and some of the very radical ideas upon which Simmons was established. And right here, I've opened up the page on the Vietnam War protests from the late 60s and early 70s. Again, as you look at the right-hand side here, you see everything from civil rights to anti-war protests, women's issues, LGBT rights. All of these are covered and talking about Simmons's engagement with these important social issues. And the last thing I want to highlight is the Black student experience at Simmons. And this photo right here is from an African American Alumni Association event in the early 90s, and it features some of our alums gathered on the residence campus. And again, this exhibit has a lot of text giving you some really strong, the strong story of Simmons's history in this area, as well as examples in this case of the 10 demands that the Black Student Organization in 1969 put out, as well as promotional posters for some outreach to the Black community that Simmons did for admissions and marketing. And we also try to highlight some prominent Black alums, professors, members of the community. And this is an example of the 10 demands document. And again, these are just some of the resources available here at the Simmons University Archives, but I will tell you that the best resource you could possibly use is to contact archives@simmons.edu, and the staff in the University Archives will be happy to help connect you to any aspect of Simmons's history in which you may be interested. Thanks so much for taking the time, and we look forward to hearing from you.